As the United States is all of a sudden trying to grapple with so many different iterations of its racist ideology of white supremacy, or others would term it white fragility, and now everyone is going for Confederate monuments and the Confederate flag. There's something in my book, Stop Falling for the Okeydoke, How the Lie of Race Continues to Undermine Our Country. And I wanted to read that to you now, as we touched on that as well. William T. Thompson, the co-founder of the Savannah Morning News, formerly known as the Daily Morning News, wrote an editorial about the flag, written April 28, 1863. He wrote the following, quote, "As a people, we are fighting to maintain the heaven-ordained supremacy of the white man over the inferior or colored race. As a national emblem, it, the Confederate flag, is significant of our higher cause, the cause of a superior race. Such a flag would soon take the rank among the proudest ensigns of the nations and be hailed by the civilized world as the white man's flag." And then that's the end of that quote. And I say parenthetically, I suppose that this is why the modern day Nazis in Europe fly the white man's flag, since the Nazi swastika flag has been banned. Reading what Thompson wrote, and given the fact that he even deigned to attribute to heaven, to God, the supremacy of the white man, I would submit that the Confederate flag is hardly the benign symbol of cultural heritage or regional pride it has been made out to be. Further, before the Civil War, the Vice President of the Confederacy, Alexander H. Stephens, said in an 1861 speech in South Carolina that the Confederacy was not founded on, quote, the false idea that all men are created equal. The Confederacy, by contrast, is founded upon exactly the opposite idea. Its foundations are laid, its cornerstone rests upon the great truth that the Negro is not equal to the white man, that slavery, subordination of the superior race, is his natural and moral condition. These are contemporaneous writings, the words of people who were alive at that time in history, writing about their thoughts about what the Confederacy was about, what the flag stood for, etc. So let's not be fooled by the okey-doke, the nonsense of, hey, it's cultural heritage, it's harmless, no big deal. And further, you see that people are now going after monuments and statues, and they're going after military bases, although the occupant right now has said he doesn't have any intention to rename any military bases, so that'll have to happen after the next election, we hope. But think about it. We are the only country in the world where people who lost the war get to have more statues and monuments than people who won the war. Where they do that at? How did that happen? But this was, I think, an intentional attempt and design to bake into the culture and spread it, because there's some Confederate monuments, not just in the South, but outside of the South too, to bake into the culture of the country an ideology of so-called white supremacy, white fictionalism, white fragility, whatever you want to call it. But to bake that into the culture so that it spread beyond the South. And, perhaps when people would say the South will rise again, maybe it did. And it has, again, exported that cancer that had been in part of the country to the rest of the country. And only now, because a former police officer decided that he could take a man's life by kneeling on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds and think he could get away with it, that all of this is coming to the fore. In the book of Genesis, the last book, the 50th chapter, around verse 20, Joseph, when he is encountering his brothers who sold him into slavery after their father, Jacob, has died, and his brothers are afraid he's going to try and take revenge on them. And Joseph tells them, y'all don't have to worry. I'm not going to take revenge on you. Indeed, God sent me ahead of you to prepare the way for you. And what you intended for evil, God meant for good. God used for good. And so in this way, what the retired, disgraced police officer and his associates, his colleagues, intended for evil, to embarrass and degrade this man and indeed ultimately taking his life, the Lord is now using for good to wake this country up. That these twin pandemics, the pandemic of COVID-19, which has exposed housing insecurity and healthcare insecurity and food insecurity and the incarceral state in this country, and how if you are an associate of the occupant, they're concerned about the conditions in the jail so they can send you home so that you don't get COVID-19. But how many people who are other people who are incarcerated, brown people who are there, and they're just left to rot there, and good luck to you, okay? But that all of this has been exposed, and then the cancer of ethnicism. There's only one race on this planet, the human race. Unless you're a Klingon or a Vulcan or a Romulan, you're human. So sorry. So, but the ethnicism, the difference in our ethnicities, this ethnicism, this cancer that has been our birth defect baked into the DNA of this country, that has been a problem for so long, has been exposed. People are waking up and taking action. I just wanted to connect those dots for you so you could understand what it's really about. Commit yourself to the long term for this journey so that we can all stop falling for the okeydoke, respond, take action, and make this country a better place. Seek our better angels so that it can be a fair and decent country for all of her citizens. Bless you.